in ancient times, rishis developed a shastra called Swara Shastra, where they used to manipulate which energy is needed for their work to perform, and they used to have their breath more towards right or left nostril based on the function, what they want to perform. Lord Krishna has always told, like, from kama starts the krodha, and then from krodha the lobha and all the arishad vargas. Similarly, from one negative emotion, that is fear majorly, that converts into the next emotion and it changes its intensity and its nature.
Hi, welcome to Casey Talks. In the series of podcasts on pulse diagnosis that we are having with Dr. Nirlepa ji. In the last podcast, we covered about the pulse and its 7 characteristics. Today we will go deep dive into understanding of pulse more. Namaste, madam.
Namaste.
It was a very complicated process, and we understand the complexity that you might be going through when you touch a pulse.
Yes. So I would like to explain some more features which we see through pulse, which is very important to know. So we have already seen that there are 7 major characteristics which we see through the pulse. Now we see the pulse with majorly using 3 fingers. One finger indicates one dosha. So this is Vata, this is Pitta, and this is Kapha. Vata's nature or quality is to be fast, it is light in nature, and it is dry. So it is generally measured at the distal part of the body. It can be felt at the distal part of the body. Followed by the denser, that is Pitta, and then the Kapha. Now each Vata, each dosha under each finger, we again subdivide this into Vata Vata, Vata Pitta, and Vata Kapha. Again the Pitta finger is again divided into Pitta and Pitta Kapha. That is, it is felt at the 3 points of the finger. Okay. And in this again we see all the 7 features. And then comes the Kapha Vata, Kapha Pitta, and Kapha Kapha.
3 into 9.
Yes.
3 into 3, 9.
This is the way we proceed with the pulse. So we interpret the wave patterns, the tala, the bala, everything under the 3 fingers. First major and then sub part. Now we see the pulse in both the hands, right hand and left hand.
Why is that so?
We have majorly 2 systems which monitors our body. That is, which is called sympathetic system and parasympathetic system. But before we understand the system, let us see in the terms of yoga. So there are majorly 2 kinds of energies which run through our body. One is heat in nature, one is cold in nature. This is best explained by Chinese medicines as yin and yang.
What is yin and yang?
So this in our system of medicine, we can say it as Ida and Pingla Nadi. And from the view of yoga, it is Chandra and Surya Nadi.
Okay.
In ancient times, rishis developed a shastra called Swara Shastra, where they used to manipulate which energy is needed for their work to perform, and they used to have their breath more towards right or left nostril based on the function, what they want to perform. And they use this yoga danda to manipulate this nadis.
Why do you have to manipulate a nadi?
Because to do one work, for example, to do more focused work, we need more activation of sympathetic system. And to do a meditation or a more calm work, we need the activation, more dominance of parasympathetic system, because it is more in rest and relaxation way.
Okay.
So they knew the signs of nadis, and they used to manipulate this based on placing the yoga danda under their arm and manipulate their swara, which is called Swara Shastra.
I was thinking that they were keeping this to do japa.
That for what? They always had a purpose for why they are doing, even they do want to japa. What kind of japa, for which work they are doing.
I was thinking that what is that called as?
Yoga danda.
Yoga danda. I was thinking it is only for resting hand. I felt it had no other use other than that.
No. Everything which they used to do, we may not understand it, but they always had a very deep cause and deep understanding of what they do. Starting from the clothes they wear to whatever they do, the work they do.
And the Kamandala also has a meaning.
Yes. Everything has a purpose and everything has a science and beyond science behind it.
Very nice, madam. Okay.
So we in our body also, the sympathetic and parasympathetic system does the functions of many. I mean, it monitors the functions of many. So it is very important that the proper functioning of sympathetic and parasympathetic system is there. So first thing which we check through the pulse is this: if the sympathetic system is working in its right way, or if the person is more dominant in sympathetic or parasympathetic. See, what happens nowadays is we are more sympathetic dominant for everything. Hardly we are spending time for rest and relaxation. So we can take an example of an athlete who has to run a 400 meters race. If he start running very fast at the starting itself, when he has to go for a long run, at the end he will get exhausted. It's a very simple technique which athlete follows, that they keep a pace. And then they give an energy when the final goal is there, then they run very fast.
Yes.
But when it comes to our reactions to the situations or doing things in today's world, we are more sympathetic. We use the emergency and the strong reactions when that much reaction is not needed.
Okay.
And so we exhaust ourselves. And thus we say that we are stressed. Why we feel stressed? What is stress according to you?
Stress is because if I can't accomplish a task, then I get stress.
If the task which has to be accomplished is with our wish, if we like to do it, then we never feel stressed.
We will not
but
feel stress, yes.
If we want to put it as a target and we are doing forcefully to finish it,
yes,
then the more
stress.
sympathetic system gets activated. I'm not saying that we have to be relaxed and do, but when there is a balance, or when we have the capacity
willfully if you do, then there
yes,
is no stress.
when you like it. When you like and do a thing, then we don't feel stressed.
Yes, agreed.
So this balance we are losing in everything. So first, when a patient comes to us, we try to understand and balance this sympathetic, the doshas which are imbalanced in this system and that system. That's why we see both the nadis.
Hands. Okay.
Hands, yeah. And then there is also another nadi, which is in which there is the neutral field which flows. As I explained, that one is heat, one is cold. There is also a neutral field which controls these two. But this nadi can be felt in Guru Nadi through the pulse. But this is not a duty of doctor to manipulate.
Okay.
This is partially related to the vagus nerve. So many times some conditions like anxiety which comes over, that is majorly vagus nerve disturbance. That's why it is not in our control. It controls these two nadis.
Okay.
So we cannot say like don't get anxiety and you can control yourself. So that is more of vagus nerve disturbance.
Vagus nerve that's nice.
It's just small part. Sushumna Nadi is very big subject, and it is not under the limitation of a doctor. Okay. See, we have to follow the rules. We have to be in our circumference to do a work. That when you meet a real guru, or when you do the real practice which is going beyond your mind, at that time the Sushumna Nadi is getting activated and your Guru Nadi shows that you are in that state. So okay. that is maybe a duty of a real guru, who has the capacity to correct and to
So when you touch the pulse, you can see that Guru Nadi?
We see, but we don't see it. Because we are doctors here.
Hmm.
So we stick to our rules.
But if you see Guru Nadi, what will that explain to you?
Till now, the state of it explains many things. It explains things beyond mind and how he is practicing, how his goes. But I don't want to stress on this right now. Till now, we didn't see anybody with that capacity where they have the neutral flow in the Sushumna Nadi or the pulse which can be felt. We have seen many people, but not yet.
Very nice.
So we see both the hands, pulse in both the hands. And this, at the Kurma Nadi, there is a Nadi called Kurma Nadi, where this charge of, the heat and cold gets exchanged. And that determines the male and the female energies. That's why right hand indicates more body functions of the body for a man, and left more creative and mind functions. But when we see a female, more left hand indicates her body, and right hand indicates her mind.
Okay.
So we have to see 7 characteristics, Vata, Kapha, like that, all the 3 in both the hands.
So in mind also will have all of these elements.
Yes. Now, in each hand, we see totally 7 levels. So it is not only one level which we check. There are totally 7 levels which we have to check. The deepmost level, that is the 7th level. First we press hard so that the pulse completely disappears. And then the first pulse which comes is a 7th level.
Oh.
And that indicates your prakruti.
Got it.
That is the prakruti of the person who is here. Then we see 6, 5, 4, 3. 1, 2, 3. The first, second, third.
Slowly you release, you'll be experiencing.
Yes. The first, second, third is called the superficial level of pulse. These 3 levels are more influenced with our epigenetic factors. To read this pulse properly, we have to ask the patient to come early morning on empty stomach.
Oh.
Because even if I eat potato today, first it gets influenced at that level, first and second.
Vata.
Yes, first, second, third level, it first shows. But we have to ask him to come on empty stomach in early morning. That is before the sunrise, 4:30 to 6. That is the ideal time to understand that first 3 pulse.
Okay.
But as we have very less scope to see the persons, our number of persons would be less. So we do not consider the first 3 levels. We start the patients to understand the patient from 4th, 5th and 6th and 7th level.
Okay.
So in body, when we see the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th level, it gives a deep understanding about the body. It gives the understanding of manifestation of the disease process. When we consider the body, we see many factors. I would like to explain some factors which is commonly we see. First is about dhatu. You might have heard, you are what you eat.
Yes.
Why do they say that? Why do they say that you are what you eat?
Because our muscle is built by the food that we eat.
So every food you eat builds your muscle?
Some muscle, there are a lot of other functions of the body, But at least some, the whole functioning of the body is happening by eating food. That is the reason we become that food.
When you take food inside, after digestion and assimilation, it is not just that you are digesting, assimilating and then excreting. After assimilation starts the real process where each food converts or transforms into 7 dhatus in our body.
Okay.
These 7 dhatus are basically the constituent elements of our body. They are the basic building blocks of our body.
Okay.
7 dhatus are rasa, rakta, mamsa, majja, asti, sukra.
Okay.
So every food which we eat gets transformed and nourishes each of these dhatus.
Okay.
Some food nourish some dhatu more. That is why many patients tell me, like if I ask them not to have a biscuit, I just gave the biscuit, I just had once. But that once biscuit affects us through these cycles.
One biscuit that they take will
affect
completely
whatever you take. One bite also goes into your body till the cellular level. It transforms into all these conditions. If the food is nourished food, it helps your body, and if it is non-nourishing food, it will damage your body. So but it will happen.
But ultimately, food is a medicine.
Yes, food is very important. Yoga hara is very important for any practice, for anything.
Very nice.
For temporary reliefs, like for suppose a kid is crying because he wants some candy, we give them one candy, but that candy will be with him in every cell. So I definitely ask the patient to think before
giving
it is
candies,
better he cries
before giving candies to the
yes kid. Just a candy, just to give a temporary relief. If you are giving a food which is not very good, then it will be there, though you think it is only once that has happened, but the food would be circulating throughout his cell for almost 49 days or whatever, how many days that extend. Because it takes time for the body to transform into one.
If I eat biscuit in the morning, everything doesn't happen. We will get out of it in one day, but it is going inside and staying.
Yes.
Oh.
So one dhatu, from one dhatu to another dhatu, from another to another. So dhatu pulse is very important. It helps us to understand the seat of the chronic diseases. Okay. The seat of diseases of chronic diseases starts from the dhatu level. So first we check how is his dhatu, if he is nourished, malnourished, if his transformation is going on perfectly or not.
Okay, got it.
Second, we see Agni. Because for anything to transform from one state to another state, Agni is very important. We are continuously growing every day. Every day we change from one form to another form. We are not aware of it, but every cell at some or the other level will be changing into one form to
continuously
another.
cells are dying and regeneration of cell is happening.
So for that, Agni is very important. We mainly concentrate Agni as Jataragni. That is the hunger, which is the common language. But Jataragni, but there are totally 13 kind of Agnis.
Oh.
Broadly, which can be divided into Jataragni, Bhutagni, Dhatu Agni. To transform from one state of Dhatu to another state of Dhatu, we need the Dhatu Agni.
Okay.
Similarly, the food which we eat, it has one element more because it is also a Panchabhuta. So that food which has to be transformed into us, it needs Bhutagni. And the seat of these Agnis is liver.
Okay.
That is why we pay a lot of attention and we give a lot of importance to the liver.
Yes.
Whether it is from the modern medicine view or from Ayurvedic.
The second largest organ of the body.
It is not only second largest, but it performs number of functions which is seen. It is digestion, it is involved in endocrine, it is responsible for blood, it is doing many things.
Kaleja.
That is why
Kaleja makes a lot of difference.
Yes, so that is why it is very important. Then we see about the organs function. Here, organs also we consider as paired organs. Same principle based on yin and yang energies.
Yes.
This is again more related to the traditional Chinese medicine. They emphasis on this more.
Yes.
So, for example, liver and gallbladder are paired organs. So, any dysfunction in gallbladder will also be reflected on liver.
Discussion.
And liver dysfunction leads to
gallbladder.
So, we have all the organs paired, and main thing which I want to convey is they are connected. We cannot say that liver is fine, so gallbladder is not fine. So, this is different.
They are all interconnected.
Yes, this is interconnected. So, when we see body, we go through all these things to understand where his dysfunction has started, where his disorder has started. As we see the body, so we see the mind. In the mind also, there are 7 main levels. Lord Krishna has always told, like from Kama starts the Krodha, and then from Krodha, the Lobha, and all the Arishad Vargas. Similarly, from one negative emotion, that is fear majorly, that converts into the next emotion, and it changes its intensity and its nature. So, it is very important to understand from where his emotional triggers have started.
Yes.
Each emotion has impact on the organ, also on the dhatus also. For example, we see Rasa Dhatu. They lack satisfaction in their life. They have definitely lack of rasa. And lack of rasa can lead to one kind of diabetes.
How many dhatus? Can you name 7 dhatus?
Yes. Rasa, Rakta, Mamsa, Majja, Medha, Asti.
Medha is intelligence, huh?
It's not intelligence. Medha is explained as which is there in 2 bony structures between the 2 bony structures. So, it's can be one kind of fat. It is explained in different terms. But to understand it, brain is one kind of Medha.
Got it.
So, that mind is more over the matter. So, mind over matter.
Yes.
So, every emotion which we feel or has an impression on us and which has to be cleared off or which has to be sorted off to proceed further. Okay. So, as far as we see the cases, 80% is mind that causes a disease, 20% is body.
Body that causes
that reflects what has the mind.
Very nice.
So, in this way, through pulse, we see 7 levels of body, 7 levels in mind, and in each level, we go into the deep. So, this is the whole spectrum of the pulse which we see.
Thank you so much. I have a question. Like you have going into a complex, so much complexity is there about touching a pulse. But I met somebody in Bangalore some time back, and they had a machine by which they were trying to check the pulse, and the machine also give a score.
Yeah.
So, what is your opinion on that machine?
See, for machine, we have to give the input into the machine. So, what kind of input you are able to give? How much spectrum you are able to cover? First, that depends on that, it gives an output. Second thing, the pulse and the seeing a patient depends on many factors. See, for example, now we have we have 6 seasons all over the as we go throughout the year. Similar 6 seasons are seen in the day cycle. Now, these 6 seasons affects our pulse. Now, can the machine be so conditional that it is able to interpret which condition we are, which we are trying to see the patient? suppose we take the example of fever. If the patient has suffered with the fever, there is one phase when we fought with the virus or bacteria and all, and then there is a phase of toxemia. There is toxemia which our body still fights. If we observe carefully, there is a first period, there would be the temperatures would be very high, like 104, 105, and then you will be getting down. And for 2-3 days there will be a subnormal temperature of 99 and 100. At that time, the body would be still fighting to detox the toxemia that has been left. So the reading of a pulse, when the person comes to us with that toxemic level, we understand, okay, you had a fever, so we don't consider that condition and start giving him the medicine based on that.
Got it.
So can the mission be so
accurate?
It's not about accurate. Can it manage the conditions, all the conditions that happens? The ritu, the nature, the condition of the body, the condition of the person, everything. And if it can answer, then it's definitely
No, it can't answer. The only thing I felt was they were actually doing some algorithms and software to just train the machine to get up. But then it is all one's own capability, one's own individual.
See, the information is available outside. That is always there. That is the school, the books, everything has a knowledge in it. But to develop the intellect is our inner quality, and from that comes the skill.
Well explained.
That
Very nice.
is what a doctor is.
Very nice.
Everybody who can read the book, who reads the book, we have the knowledge. To develop it from the inside,
Not everybody
what
can
is
do
needed.
Justice.
So that is the real skill.
Wonderful, madam. So I could now today understand what dhatus are and the way you look at the pulse. So the most important is like you press down and then your pulse stops, and from there when you're releasing it is the stages.
Yes.
Very well explained, and definitely a complicated process. Not a person with normal IQ levels can pursue this. You need to have very strong intelligence and IQ to do this.
You need to have the skill and the zeal to understand it.
Thank you so much, Nirlepa ji, for giving beautiful insights on how do we understand our body. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Namaste.
Namaste.